Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And today, I'm doing a review on the new Candyman movie. So before I get into today's review, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. As D always says, podcast link down in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into today's review. This movie, oh my God. It was scary. It was amazing. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time I was watching this movie. I can't believe that I was one of the people in the theater that was, hooping and hollering. Like, why am I saying hooping and hollering? Like, that's something that my mom used to say. But yeah, I was hooping and hollering because of how scary this movie was. I thought everybody in the movie did an amazing job, and I thought that the story was really good. I like that it's a direct sequel to the original Candyman movie, and it takes place 30 years after that. And Helen Lyle, who was in the original Candyman movie, she has a story in the hood of Cabrini Green, and she's painted as a crazy woman because of the stuff that she went through in the original movie. And 30 years later, we have the main character now, Anthony McCoy. Now, Anthony, he was the original kid. He was the baby in the original movie. And now he's an adult, and he, of course, doesn't remember anything that happened from the original movie. His mother, Anne, she's hidden all of this from him so that way that he could grow up and just have a normal life. And as things always happen in these horror movies, when it's time to come and collect, that monster is always going to come back. And Anthony, he brings back the legend of Candyman after he meets William Burke, who is somebody who grew up in the neighborhood as well. Now, this is an interesting take that I love about it, is that we find out that there have been multiple Candymen throughout the years. And when William was a kid, there was a Candyman in his neighborhood who he was hiding from the police because the police were racist and they were trying to kill him or arrest him, but eventually they killed him because there was a white girl in the neighborhood who got injured because there was a razor in an apple, and everybody pointed the blame at him. So they end up finding him, they end up killing him, and the original Candyman, he ends up becoming, not the original Candyman, but the Candyman, when William was a kid, becomes the new Candyman. And this is in the 1970s. So, Cabrini Green has just been this area where, like, there has always been a Black person that's been murdered, and they've always been murdered because of racial unjust. And that's something that we see in this movie throughout it, is that, because of everything that's gone on in the real world with Black Lives Matter and stuff like that, I mean, you see that these are the same type of cops that sometimes that we deal with in real life. So I always like it when movies kind of implement certain elements of what's going on in real life and put it in any form of media, whether it's a movie or a TV show. And I thought that they did a really good job at doing that. You just see that these policemen, they're the same as the people who killed the original Candyman. And that's the reason why the legend has been going on for all these years. Now, something else that I thought was interesting is how in this movie, they paint Candyman as he's a hero for people of color. And because of the racial injustice that, all of the Candyman have gone through over the years, they want to have a Candyman that protects the neighborhood now, which I thought was an interesting take on Candyman. I, again, highly recommend this movie. I don't want to give too much away, but I will say that when I did see the initial trailer for Candyman, because I don't really like watching trailers for movies because I feel like they give too much away. I thought that Tony Todd was going to be, the Candyman in this film, but the Candyman in this film was the Candyman from the 1970s, which I thought was cool. It was an interesting take, and it was just cool to find out that Tony Todd, the original Candyman, he is in this movie, which is something that I really appreciated, because when it comes to sequels and reboots, I feel like sometimes they mess them up or they do the characters injustice, but I think that they did a really good job at paying homage to the original Candyman. And it was just awesome seeing Tony Todd in the movie. Like, who doesn't love Tony Todd? Like, everything that this man is in, like, I always appreciated Final Destination 2, Tales from the Hood 3, you know, the list goes on. He was on The Flash, season 2 of The Flash. So, you know, Tony Todd, I love him. Hopefully I can get him on the podcast one day, because that would be awesome. And everybody that's watching, if you can tweet out to him, Tony Todd, please go on the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast. I would really appreciate that. So with that being said, overall, again, the story was good for this movie. The effects were good. The deaths, the way people were killed in this movie, like, it always caught me off guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm sitting here in the theater watching this, I'm just like, I wasn't expecting this person or that person to die like that. So I highly recommend going to see this movie. I can't praise this movie enough. I'll give this movie a 9 out of 10. And let me know in the comments, if you have seen the movie, what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you expecting to see a sequel? Because me, I want to see a sequel to this movie. I want to see what's going to happen next. But let me know in the comments what you thought about it. You know where you can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks. On Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Make sure you check out some more of our reviews, interviews, and reaction videos that we do have here on the channel. And we have brand new podcast episodes that come out every Tuesday, with the video of that episode coming out on YouTube on Friday. So like I always say, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.